Music anytime. Okay, let's see. See, we're stuck. But it'll start up in a moment. Yeah, it always has that false beginning. But
Yeah.
welcome to the Vinny Mac Show.
Yes, it's the Vinny Mac Show once again, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our world. We have cut the fat, and let me tell you, you're getting nothing but trim and lean, mean meat here.
Yeah,
I don't know about myself, but
hold on.
yeah.
Only the choice, only the choice meat.
Grade B.
Speaking of meat,
Yes.
when this is my good friend Vinny Mac. I'm Kaye Lazar, and we did this show many years ago, and now we're doing it again, a
Yes.
reboot.
Reboot.
Yeah. So anyway, enough the old stuff. Let's go to
Yeah.
new stuff.
New stuff.
What when you eat meat,
Yes.
like you get a steak or a hamburger or something,
Uh-huh.
rare, medium. How do you like it?
I love it well done. I'm sorry, I gotta do it well done. I just can't see the red in the
I
center.
know. What's the deal on that?
Yeah.
No, I go. I hang with a lot of fancy people,
Yeah.
and sometimes I hang with people like
Uh,
you. No, but I hang with nice people like yourself,
all
and
right.
then what happens is the dinner will come, and they'll say, "Well, how do you want your hamburger? How do you
Right.
want your meat?" And they'll say, and I'll say, "Well done."
Uh-huh.
And I just, it's almost like everyone drops their fork. What? You don't like it bloody and rare and and
Uh,
just killed?
just killed it
Yeah,
right off the cattle ranch.
I know. I used to know somebody, a nice woman,
Uh-huh.
and she used to. I'm not kidding. Whenever she ordered a hamburger,
Uh-huh.
it was called steak tartare. It was basically just
Oh,
raw hamburger, and with
yeah.
two, and everything else was fancy. That had a piece of onion and a piece of tomato on it,
Uh-huh.
and a bun, a nice, usually a fancy. But then the meat was basically just pork. It was red red blood,
Red blood.
and I said,
Yeah.
man, she didn't tell her, so I guess.
Oh,
I found that meat
golly.
is one of the easiest things to order,
Uh-huh.
um, and take home,
Yes.
because if you order chicken or fish and it's not cooked right, then when you bring it home, the doggy bag, you
Yeah.
can't really cook it very well. But meat, you could always reheat pretty well. In
Yes.
fact, if it's a little rare,
Uh-huh.
when you get it in the restaurant, you could actually recook it at home and
Yeah,
then make it
we
and
can.
make it the way we want it.
Yeah, and at no cost.
Yes, at that point.
Yeah, no. Well, yes. Welcome to the Vinny Mac Show. This show, once again, is brought to you by Skunk Remover Soap. You have to get that soap. You get rid of them skunks, and you won't have to worry about anything on YouTube or anything like that. Skunk Remover Soap.
Skunk remover.
Skunk Remover.
Now,
And I know people probably know what I'm talking about.
you talking about real skunks or just the smell of skunk?
We're talking
The
about
skunky smell
the
of it.
skunky smell. We're talking about also other types of skunks. And
Because I tell you, I haven't never really seen a skunk in the wild. I have seen a
oh,
dead skunk,
right.
like the song, in the middle of the road. And what happened was I was in the country and there was a long traffic jam,
Uh-huh.
but there was a big space where the skunk was, because you did not want your car stuck in the traffic jam where the dead skunk was, because actually,
Oh,
even if you're just driving by it,
yes.
you, like, maybe a few seconds after you pass it, you smell it.
You smell it, yes.
And you're so glad you could just smell it just like that and leave. Because if you're just stuck there, and you get used to smells,
Yes.
you could get used. And then of course the next place you go, you're gonna have to burn your clothes and everything.
Yes.
I mean, the clothes are
Yes.
no good anymore.
Oh
You're gonna take a bath
no.
in tomato juice. I don't
Uh,
know anything about it. So the skunks. Actually, I've been very fearful of skunks. Luckily, I've never seen one.
I have. I've
Yeah,
seen a skunk. They're very vicious animals, believe it or not.
yeah, obviously.
Yeah, just like wolverines and a whole bunch of vicious animals. Um,
Mm.
honey badgers
You've
are
seen
probably
one?
the most vicious.
Wow.
but I've never seen one of those.
Where? I mean, in the woods, obviously.
Yeah, of course. You know, like in the
You didn't see
woods.
it. You didn't see it in Times Square.
There's a skunk coming from Times Square here. It's like, there he goes. He's going to drop the ball at midnight. Oh, yeah. Who hasn't?
That you could be in, a civil life in New York City.
Yeah.
And a rat will jump out of a subway or a subway steps
Uh-huh.
or garbage. I mean, and they just move like that. And from what I understand, they're rather harmless. But I still can't get the idea of rats out of my head.
Oh, I
Because rats,
know.
I'm very fearful of. I must have been scared of a rat when I was a kid because I've
Oh.
never been the same about rats since now I see
Uh-huh.
squirrels
Uh-huh.
and I don't feel the same way.
You don't feel
And
the same way.
but what's the difference between a rat and a squirrel? A bushy tail
Yeah.
and makes it a little cuter. But take away the bushy tail, you basically got the same
You got
thing.
a rat. Got a flying rat.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I used to see some rats in Times Square, like Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Fallon, rats. Yeah, you do see them all the time.
Oh man.
But
I once, I once
yeah.
saw in Times Square. I saw Richard Dreyfuss.
Oh man,
And I saw Floyd Mayweather.
Floyd Mayweather, Money Mayweather.
Yeah, he was in Times Square in a car, and everyone was around the car waiting for him to come out. But he wasn't coming out, and he was there like more than an hour. That I was waiting for him to come out. He never came out. So I said, I'm not gonna wait all
Yeah,
day.
I ain't gonna wait for this guy.
And then I saw, I think that I'm sure I've seen someone else in Times Square.
Okay.
But for the most part, you see Elmo, and you see
Oh
the
yeah.
woman, and
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
yeah, the urban cowboy.
Oh yeah, that guy. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
His wife does the same thing, and she's kind of naked too.
Ah, who's prettier?
I tell you what, I have a little joke about the naked cowboy.
Yeah.
He was supposed to perform during the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade.
Okay.
But he had to. But it was a very cold day,
All right.
and he couldn't show up. And the reason why they had announced the naked cowboy will not be here due to the cold weather at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade due to shrinkage.
Oh,
Yeah. I guess
ouch.
And then what else? That's all I've seen. Oh, but getting back to wildlife now.
Yes.
You've seen. You remember our good friend Linda Highsmith?
Yes. Yes.
I went hiking with her once.
Uh-huh.
Susan's our friend, and poor Linda's not with us anymore. But
Yeah.
we went hiking, and there was a beaver in a what do you call them? A beaver den?
Beaver dams.
A dam, yeah,
Yes.
or dam.
Yeah.
And we saw the dam, and then we never really saw a good look at the beaver. He wasn't like walking around. He wasn't walking. But then we just saw like the top of the head, and then it came around where we were, and we were far away. We must have been like 50 feet away or so, and it started to turn around and smashing with its flat tail at us.
Whoa.
And then just it didn't say anything, didn't do anything but that. And then Linda said, "I think she wants us to leave." It was a female beaver who was probably protecting baby beavers somewhere.
Yes.
And
yes.
but that was the only time I've ever seen a beaver.
Oh, I've never seen a beaver. I've only seen him on TV. Like
Yeah.
Leave It to Beaver. I've seen him.
Justin Bieber.
Justin Bieber. Bieber. But yeah, coming to wildlife. Going back to the skunk. I accidentally did run over one.
Wow.
Or an overnight near a police and fire station. So.
Wow.
So I ran him over,
Okay.
and then the smell just disintegrated all over the police station.
And the police station didn't even notice.
They did. They noticed because that thing was gone in the morning. Like, you're under arrest. We're just gonna have to lock you up. Somebody pick up this skunk here.
Remember the old joke about the pet skunk? Guy had a pet skunk. He goes, he brought it to his room.
Uh-huh.
No, it's his fraternity house in college.
Okay.
And he goes, uh, you're bringing a skunk into the fraternity house. What about the smell? And the guy says, he'll just have to get used to it like I did.
Oh man. Ouch, ouch, ouch.
You know how you stop a skunk from smelling?
Cut off his nose.
He read the same boys' life jokes. Now, so
Yes.
what's been like? What was it had a good week?
Yeah, I
Staying
had a good
healthy?
week, a long week, lots of traveling for the job, and yeah, whoo, they sometimes make you travel. But I had a great week. Last weekend was a good weekend. I got a chance to do something I've never done before, and this will be going into our next topic.
Yeah.
It's sports.
You going to do sports? You never
Yes,
done sports
I've
before?
never done sports before.
No.
But I went to my friend and I went to the Hollywood Casino and
Mhm.
I did some sports betting.
Whoa.
I've never done that before, but I decided to make a big wager against. No. I'm sorry. This was a big wager for the Dallas Cowboys
Yeah.
because we know somebody who is such a fan. So usually when I bet against this individual, I usually lose. So I told this certain individual that I will place some money on the Dallas Cowboys winning the NFC East.
Oh, okay.
So since I normally don't win, already the Cowboys have two players who are out for the season with two ACLs.
Mm. Wait a minute. When does the season start?
It starts in 3 weeks.
But you don't. Do you win? When do you when do you collect on this bet? At the
At the
end
end of the
of the season?
season, yeah.
Okay, so you have to wait.
I have to wait,
Okay.
yes. But my losing bet cursing has already glossed over the Cowboys by having two major people and two good people already out with ACL tears for the year.
Mm. Well, I hate to see anyone get hurt, but I
I
gotta
do
tell you.
too, but
But I gotta tell you, is this the first time you ever gambled?
no,
How did you gamble before?
I did small little gambles here and there, little teeny gambles, but I never win anything.
Well, let me tell you, I know something about gambling.
Mhm.
I'm not. I'd be a millionaire if I knew everything about gambling. But I do know that when it comes to sports betting,
Yes.
um, uh, well, our friend George, he likes to, when he bets on the Cowboys, which is fine.
Yeah.
And you're a Redskin fan,
Yes,
or
I
the
am.
or the
Or the formers.
the former the team formerly known as the Redskins. So anyway, I don't think you should ever, if you want to win on
Right.
gambling,
Mhm.
never bet on a team you have an interest in, either you like or is a rival of the team you like,
Mhm.
because your judgment is colored and obfuscated
Yeah.
by betting on it, when actually a real gambler doesn't has no emotion in
He just goes and do it.
well, he picks the team, the favorite, the and the odds. I mean, he actually works it out that. So I always tell people, never bet on your favorite team, because
No.
or your hated team.
As a
Uh,
matter of fact, that Jeopardy champion, Jason Rosenhauer,
yeah.
whatever his name is, he's a big gambler.
Well, that guy is yeah, he's a professional gambler, which means
Mhm.
he has no stake
No stake in anything.
in whether he gets personal enjoyment if the team wins. He only cares whether he makes money or not.
That's right.
Yeah. And and let me tell you about gambling.
uh,
I This is really wild.
uh-huh.
I read an article in one of the like Sports Illustrated, how gambling works, like how casinos work, or how, like, I
Oh,
think
yeah.
that they were doing it how would they it was doing the March Madness,
Oh,
which has more
yeah.
gambling than any other
In
sport in
any
the
other
world.
sport,
So what
yes.
happens is, even people who have no, and what's neat about March Madness
Mhm.
is that usually when you have those brackets and you're gambling,
Uh-huh.
you have a say. You can kind of. It's not like you're doing a pool at work where you're just stuck with these numbers,
Yeah.
whether and for the Super Bowl or the World Series. And then if you get anything but a 4 or 0 or
Zero,
7,
yeah.
you're out. You hope for a safety or something. So anyway, somewhere in the game. So anyway, so March Madness. Okay, you pick the teams and everything. Now there are odds on each team.
Yes. Yes.
2 to 1, 100 to 1, that type of thing. And the way the casinos work it out and the prognosticators is they actually have like mathematicians who do this,
Oh, yes.
not sports people.
No.
And they actually they work it out that they know so many people will bet 100 to 1, so many people will bet uneven money, some people bet the favorite, some people won't bet this, won't bet that.
Mhm.
And then at the end of the day,
Yes.
no matter how the gambling went, the house still made a profit.
Oh, yeah.
In
They
other
always
words, if
do.
everyone bet on the favorite, a horse race is a good example. If everyone bet
Uh-huh.
on like Secretariat in the day,
Yeah.
if everyone bet on Secretariat, if you bet $1 on Secretariat, you would probably get like $1.10 or $1.25. There wasn't really a whole lot of risk in
No.
that.
Mm-mm.
So the real gambling was for place and show.
Yes.
But nevertheless, they worked it all out that no matter how you gambled, the house or the track or whatever is going to make all the money. In fact, they actually say to these guys
Mhm.
who after they set the odds and the bets are in and all this stuff, and then they go home for the night. They said, "Don't you want to see how it turns out?" He goes, "I know how it's going to turn out. The house is going to win." Yeah. So
Yeah, you're right. The house always wins. How do you think Las Vegas has become a big, gigantic metropolitan gambling city?
yes, Jimmy Kimmel said this once. He's from Las Vegas,
Hmm.
and he said that his father told him that they were driving through the strip and they saw all
Hmm.
these, not the strip, but where all the big hotels
Oh,
are.
you're right. The strip.
Okay, probably the strip now. The strip, I always
Oh, the
think of the
strip
strip
back then.
back then, but this was, I
Okay.
think, the new strip with all the Mirage and the MGM Grand and all this. And they actually said, and he said, his father said, you see all these columns and
Mhm.
marble, and you see all these chandeliers and buffets and uniformed guards and pretty women in costumes and everything. He goes, they didn't pay for all this by giving away the money. So I'll
That's
never
so
forget that.
true.
Never forget that.
So true. Well, I'll tell you what.
Slots are
Slots, yeah.
slots are such that the more you play them, the
Uh-huh.
more. In other words, the longer you play them, even if you win,
Yes.
you're eventually going to put it all in there and lose
Oh,
it.
yes, yes,
And
yes.
it's in their interest to keep you there with
Hmm.
drinks
Yep.
or with tickets to shows,
Yes.
with showgirls, with
Uh-huh.
all these the buffets, all that stuff.
Uh-huh.
Because the last thing they want to do is you win a lot of money
Uh-huh.
and then you go to another casino and lose it
And
all.
lose it all.
At their
Yeah.
casino, because they know that if they keep you.
See, I tell you, Kevin, I'll be a bad gambler. I'll be like, as soon as I hit like $1,000 on that jackpot, it's like, oh, cash me out.
Actually, that's a good. That's good.
Uh-huh.
People don't usually leave Las Vegas with $1,000 profit, or $100
Or
profit,
$100
or
profit.
$25 profit.
Yeah.
So
Get something big, cash me out, and then the casino owners will be like, "Hey, where are you going?" And it's like, "I'm gonna head home, thanks."
you know what you always hear when you go to like Atlantic City or Hollywood Casino, any of these places,
Mhm.
you always hear a guy telling usually his wife, "Remember that $1,000 I told you not to give me under any
Mhm. That's
circumstances?
right.
I need it now."
You know what, Kevin? What's so funny is that I sometimes would go over to the casino just to watch the other people lose.
Mm.
I just sit there. It's like, wow, I was putting in 100. I'm putting in another 100. And it's like,
Wow.
all right, good job, guy.
They do all these. They give you chips,
Yep.
and they want you to forget that that chip is $10 or $100.
Oh,
They want you to think it's just
yes.
a piece of plastic.
That's right.
You're just gambling with plastic.
It kind of reminds me of the Bugs Bunny cartoon when Bugs Bunny is trying to get this land back or something back, and he had to gamble some money. So this high roller here, he's got all these chips, and Bugs Bunny only got maybe what, $50, but the minimum is like 100 or something. So the dealer cracks the chip in half. And here you go.
Oh,
Take
yeah.
it, kink. There you go.
How did it work out? Bugs Bunny always works out.
Oh yeah, Bugs Bunny always wins at the end. He took the guy's big gigantic pot, and the other guy was left with that half a chip.
Came when he came in.
Yeah.
I think Bugs Bunny my favorite.
Oh yes.
And
Yes.
and what I really like about Bugs Bunny is that no matter who he's up against,
Yosemite Sam.
Yosemite Sam,
Yos-
Yosemite Sam. I actually had a hard time saying that myself when I was a kid. So when the president said it wrong, that kind of felt for him. Anyway, Yosemite Sam, Elmer Fudd, all these guys
Mhm.
with guns trying to
Yes.
shoot him. You notice Bugs Bunny is never all that worried about them.
No.
He's always cool.
He's smarter than the average hunter.
Yeah, well, I mean, he knows that.
Yeah, it's like
I'm not gonna worry about it.
same thing with the road runners. Like coyote ain't gonna catch me.
Well, no, I think most of the time the roadrunner always seems oblivious to him. He's just running,
Yeah.
and the coyote is his own worst enemy.
Yes.
You know, oh, I got to tell you funny about the coyote. I was downtown. I was walking by a place called the Acme Computer Company. It was a place that I guess fixed computers, and so and they sold computers. Acme Computer Company, and I actually said to them, I said, I hope. I don't know how good you are with computers, but I'm never ever going to buy a rocket launcher or a catapult from you.
Oh, so true. So true.
But Bugs Bunny, he's actually been my role model. And we both like to dress up as women sometimes. No.
Oh.
Yeah, and Bugs Bunny seems to enjoy it too.
Yeah, I
He
don't
seems
know
to.
why.
No, I mean, I think he really does. He seems to think he's all cute. But anyway, he's not embarrassed at all. But anyway, Bugs Bunny. I actually, I live a really charmed life. Everything comes to me rather easy, sort of like Bugs Bunny. And I'm the type of guy in many cases, not all the time, but a lot of times people come like Daffy Duck and they'll start screaming and yelling and making a big fuss, and then I'll go up and say, "Hello, everyone," and everyone will applaud. And then they'll do something, and then all you hear is crickets. And I have to admit, I don't know. I mean, I don't know why. It doesn't always happen, but it happens as I get older. It happens more and more. When I was a teenager, it never happened. I was Daffy Duck. So what cartoon characters you
cartoons was the big thing. I love the 80s cartoons like Thundercats, Voltron, of course, Bugs Bunny, Woody Woodpecker, Tom and Jerry.
Oh yeah.
You gotta have all the. I was a big Hanna-Barbera fan because Kings Dominion is just right up the road, and of course, when we were kids, Hanna-Barbera was the owner of the park.
Yeah.
But now I'm really big into anime, Japanese anime.
Oh wow.
I love Japanese anime. A friend of mine got me into it, and I decided to watch it. I was like, hey, this is some really good stuff.
Anime.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't. I see it, but I never really. It's always so serious.
It's some serious, some serious, some not.
Yeah. But then some on the surface it looks like that Pokemon looks kind of humorous.
Is
as a thing. I don't know what it is. Doing karate.
Yeah, I never got into Pokemon, unfortunately. That's a kid's thing. I didn't like all the monsters because there were too many of them.
Yeah.
If they had maybe 10 or 20 monsters, my mind can only just hold in so much.
Oh wow. Anime. I know that in anime, a lot of times you'll get people have actually I've watched anime videos with them, and it's just like watching a full length cartoon.
Yes.
And they say, do you want it in the original Japanese or do you want it in English? And some purists want it in the original Japanese. because they think the English version is kind of dubbed improperly. And I said, wait a minute, all cartoons are dubbed. It's not like a real movie, like a Fellini movie or a Kurosawa movie. If it's going to be, if you could change it to any language, you might as well see the language English.
That's right, English. Show it in English.
Because I had a chance to see a French movie, and it was a cartoon, Fantastic Planet, and they said you wanted it in the original French or in English. I was like, give me the English one. Now, when you see the like a regular movie, and it's dubbed into English, and it was originally in French. Hello, how are you? Where have you been? And then you see those. You see those Chinese kung fu movies.
Yes.
And when they dub those guys, I mean, I'm not gonna do a racist accent, but they don't give them like Chinese accents speaking English. They have them speaking, "Hi guys, how you doing?" Hey, what are you gonna do around here? They sound like Joe Pesci or somebody. Robert De Niro.
Dude, what's the deal with that?
Well, they have American accents or Brooklyn accents.
I don't care as long as they fight. In a kung fu fighting movie, just fight, have fun.
Yeah.
Just watch out. Be careful of the bad guy. Kill him, and then the movie's over. But Japanese anime, I do understand a little bit of Japanese, so I can read some of it, but not a lot. So I'm still learning Japanese.
What languages do you know?
Just a little bit of Japanese and Spanish.
Spanish? That what you learned in school, high school?
Yeah.
I learned Spanish in high school too.
I learned a lot of Japanese from a friend of mine. This a Japanese lady. She was really nice, and she talked Japanese to me. It's like, I don't know what you're talking about. It's like, you better learn.
This Japanese is all Greek to me.
But she was very nice. I mean, she was a very, very nice lady. So she taught me some Japanese.
I'm always amazed, not so much because most Americans don't know anything other than English, but when people like from Asia or the Middle East or even Greece, they have a whole different alphabet.
Yeah.
So not only do they have to learn English, they have to learn a whole different alphabet.
Yes.
And when you look at their alphabet, if you only speak English, you can't make head nor tail of it. And I assume that they can't make head nor tail when they
they can't.
They can't. They see us. See the R A B C D.
Yeah. Like, okay, I quit.
I get freaked out when I see something in I think Swedish would have the O with the
yes,
on the top.
yeah.
Or the what's the thing on the N in Spanish?
The apostrophe?
No, it's a little squiggle.
The squiggle line. Yeah.
Or something.
Nada.
I heard it on Jeopardy last week. I used to know what it was called, but because I used to know Spanish quite well. And if you know any language, or if you don't know a language, if you spend any time in a country, you're going to pick up a little. Even if you're just there a few days, you're going to know hello, goodbye, thank you. You certainly want to know where the bathrooms are.
Oh, trust me.
You don't want to see a different alphabet and say.
Trust me. And we're going to go on the topic of travel a little bit. When I was in Japan. Oh, trust me. I knew the Japanese format for a toilet. I knew the phrase how to say use the bathroom in Japan, and I had no problems.
Oh yeah, that's good. Were you your hotel in Japan, was it that little cubicle that I see in the
not the capsule. No.
Travel channel.
I can't fit in it.
Well, actually, I don't think anyone fits in it. I think they make it small on purpose. Simply so people don't hang around in it. That's my view is that whenever I'm in at a hotel, it doesn't really matter to me how fancy the hotel is because I'm not going to spend any time in there anyway. Yeah, I'm going to be out and about. Someone said, "Don't you want the comforts of home?" I said, "Yeah, when I'm at home. I never would have left. When I come to New York or when I come to Japan, I want to rough it. I want the adventure."
Yes. Well, when I was in Japan, I did go to a nice fancy hotel. I had to. and it was amazing. I mean, I loved it.
Was the Holiday Inn?
Yeah, it was a holiday in Tokyo.
The Howard Johnson.
Howard Johnson. and
The blue and orange table.
Yeah. And the room was just a little bit bigger than a capsule.
Now tell me, what was what was so grand? I mean, compared to hotels in America.
Let's see. The
Nice
hotels in Japan, yes, they are small. For us Americans, we'd be like, okay, this is it?
Yeah.
But unless you have an American style hotel that you stay
Yeah.
in, then you got a regular size hotel like here in America. But the Japanese hotels, if you can find a really good one, they can give you a good price for it.
Yeah.
A lot of things around Japan are really expensive, but if you can bargain hunt, you can find something real good.
Yeah. Well, tell me about the now. What are like the customs? Is there anything you had to customs you had to follow not to insult
Yes,
the Japanese people?
yes.
Like what did you do?
One thing, be polite. Always be polite. If you're going to be a jerk, an idiot, don't go to Japan because they will kick you out.
Yeah.
Not literally, but
I think
they would just hate
they
you.
probably would. They actually imprisoned Paul McCartney for drugs.
I heard.
And that I mean that was years ago. That was back in the 70s.
Yeah.
And he had a heck of a time getting out of there.
Oh my.
And I think they had to get the United Nations or something to get him out because of his status. And he'll never do it again. That time.
Well,
But he had
yeah.
marijuana, and while other countries wouldn't like that, they really came down hard
Oh
in
yes.
Japan.
In Japan.
It's rather
Yes.
conservative country. I mean, more so than even though it's a modern and but the people are still
The people are
very
very nice in Japan. I really enjoyed myself. I got a chance to talk to a few Japanese people in their language, and
wow.
they really wanted to speak to me in English. So I
Oh,
was like,
yeah.
okay, let's do a two-way street. Let's have fun. So,
Yeah.
oh, the subways are crowded in Tokyo.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. You really get shoved like a sardine.
Oh yeah.
But the Shinkansen bullet trains, they're awesome. I love them.
They crowded?
No,
No.
no, I had first class.
Oh, they are for travel
For long distance travel.
Or for long distance, like
Long distance.
they're not. They're like Amtrak.
They're like
I think it's
Amtrak,
that style.
but a lot, like 500 times better than
Well,
Amtrak.
you know, I almost went on the tunnel. I mean, I looked into it
Uh-huh.
because I had to get from England to France
Yes.
very, very fast. I looked at it; it was actually more expensive than taking a blimp ride or something. And then I said, why is it so? I was in England. So
Yeah.
why is it so expensive? And they said, because it's not really for people; it's for business travel. In other words, when you go on business class or first class, sometimes they call it in America.
Yes.
No one. Always remember every time you're on a plane and you're in awe or envious of the people in business class.
Mhm.
Those people do not pay for that.
That's true.
It's always a favor by on their expense account
Uh-huh.
or somebody sending them for a job type of
Mhm.
thing. You know, but when they have to pay their own ticket, even
Yeah.
rich people, they they out of their own pocket. They're with the rest of us with the third seat in the middle. Even though I think with coronavirus you don't have that third seat in the middle.
Yeah, yeah.
But one thing that coronavirus has taken care of.
Well, let me tell you, when I went to England last August, matter of fact, exactly around this time last year, I had a European Rail Pass,
Yeah.
first class pass, took me everywhere, got to Germany from London, went to France from London. I didn't go to Paris because Paris was all booked up, so that really stunk.
Yeah.
But I got a chance to go through Belarus and a couple other countries.
You're on a Eurail pass.
Yes.
Wow. Wow. And how long? I mean, how many weeks was that?
It was just only for a week.
Oh, for a week.
Just
Okay.
for 1 week.
Because I've been on Eurail passes twice,
Uh-huh.
and they were both for 2 months.
Wow.
So I still didn't see everything I could.
Golly.
And how it would work was I would go to a city like Paris,
Uh-huh.
and at that the first time I took a Europe, I'd never been to Paris before, so I spent
Right.
like 4 or 5 days there, and then the next, so you know, 2 months you can eat it up pretty fast.
Uh-huh.
And then if there were places I wanted to go, but a lot of big cities like on Brussels and stuff like that, it was worth seeing it for a day. So I would take the overnight train
Uh-huh.
from wherever I was, like it would take 8 hours or so, and then you'd wake up in Brussels
Uh-huh.
or somewhere and then you would put your you would check your bag somewhere at the train station, and then you would spend the whole day, and then later that night you would take that a train back somewhere else and
Oh yeah,
save up.
yeah, yeah.
So and you save a lot on hotels and stuff.
Yes,
Yeah. So
yes.
and then the first time I did it, I was in my mid 20s. The last time I took it was in my late 30s,
Mm.
and but I had such a good time the first time that when I did the second time, all I what I did was I went to the places I didn't get to go to the first time. So I got to
Yes.
see, and then there were a few places like Paris. Well, I could spend a day in
Oh yeah, you spent
I
a
could
day
spend
in
a day in
Paris.
Paris.
Yeah.
And the only thing I'm missing I only found this out when I went home, was the Bilbao museum in Spain. I just missed that, but
Yeah.
I went all over the second time. I went all over Spain. I went
Uh-huh.
all over. I went to the Czech Republic. Went
Oh,
to
I bet that was
Hungary.
nice.
Yeah, and then the first time I went to Scandinavia,
Uh-huh.
and both times I went to Germany and France and
Okay.
Italy.
Nice,
So yeah,
nice.
England, England. I have relatives there, so I didn't really. That was as soon as I got the Eurail pass, I
Uh-huh.
started in England just to get to France. Take the Dover, go through. I think that's when I thought of the Channel,
The tunnel,
and then
yes.
I went from Dover to Le Havre or Cherbourg. You could go either way, and I think somewhere along the line I went both ways.
Yeah, I mean, I like the tunnel because
You went on the
go,
Channel?
yes,
Oh, how
I
did?
went under the tunnel going from the spot in London
Yeah,
to the southernmost point in England.
yeah,
Train goes under the English Channel,
yeah,
go up in Laval, France. I
yeah,
forgot the name of the town.
yeah.
It was a long ride, I can tell you that.
It was a
But
long
oh
one?
yeah,
All night
yeah.
long?
No, 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 no. About it's 34 miles, I think they said.
That's not
So
very.
it's about 45 minutes to an
That's a
hour.
long ride.
Yeah, to me it is.
I've been on trains for 8 hours. But I mean, so was it? I mean, I mentioned how expensive it was. Was it expensive?
No, it was
Oh, okay.
all through the Euro Rail
Oh, it was in the
Pass.
Eurail pass.
Yes.
Oh, you
Hmm.
see, they didn't have that on the Eurail pass when I went the first time. Yeah, so they put that
Ah,
on there.
so they put it on
Oh,
there
I would
now.
have definitely got on that on the Eurail pass. Yeah,
It was
just to be
fun.
on it. Yeah,
Yeah, just to be, it was so much fun. Because going to Germany, I went to Frankfurt.
yeah,
It was so much fun. Just riding from London to Frankfurt,
yeah,
do some stuff, and then hop off on a train, go right on back to London.
yeah.
It's so cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was on ferries from England to uh, France.
Oh, nice,
I was on
nice.
a ferry. I mean, it's part of the Europass. I was on a ferry from Stockholm um, to Helsinki.
Oh, I always wanted to
I
go
think I
there.
think I was on a I think I was on that same trip. I was on from Copenhagen to Stockholm on a ferry. There's a lot of water around
Ah,
there,
yes,
and
yes.
I went to Norway. I went over.
Oh,
Yeah.
you went to some of the good countries.
Well, I went. They were all. Yeah. People were all very nice. They're always nice to me. Yeah.
Well, when I was in Japan, I did the same thing. I got a Japan Rail Pass,
Hmm.
first class, rode all the
Wow.
Shinkansen trains all over Japan,
Yeah.
went to Nagano, Niigata, went all the way up to Sapporo, spent the night in Sapporo. That was really, really
Yeah.
nice. Had a great time. Great
Yeah.
time.
They're very smart people in Japan. They all speak Japanese.
Yeah. And it's like you can't even understand what they're saying. But then again, sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. Hey.
Did they have any problem when you were in Europe with how you spoke being an American?
No.
Because they always were trying to imitate me and everything,
Uh-huh.
and they were all trying to and they were all and they when I was there, the big TV show was Dallas. So every
Oh,
time they tried to
yes.
be, I'm an American, just like you,
Ah.
and you could hear their other language under it. Their other accents.
Oh,
And they were trying to sound like J.R. Ewing because that's what they know.
J.R. Ewing.
They all thought we were all cowboys and everything.
Yeah.
And then they would try to teach me how they speak. And I'm pretty good at accents, but I didn't really do a great job for them.
Right.
And I figured out something that when you do a foreign accent, or when a foreigner does an American accent, is a good example. You could fool your country,
yes,
but you can't fool the country you're imitating. Now, certain actors, like Anthony Hopkins and people like that. Ones that are out that Mel Gibson, people like that. They, Hugh Jackman, they could do very good American.
Oh heck yeah! Let me tell you. I mean,
Channing Tatum,
no?
the guy that was in Avatar, Sam something. Yeah, He's
that guy.
Australian. Yeah, I mean they. And it isn't until you see them on talk shows, you go, oh, I didn't know he was.
I know.
I didn't know he was Russell
like Hugh
Crowe.
Jackman.
Yeah,
I mean,
they do great.
He does a great job.
The best I heard, I didn't know she was English at all. Was the girl that was in the Wonder Years, the older sister. Wasn't until I saw her on a talk show. I said, "Oh, I didn't know she was British. She was such a good American."
The older sister from Wonder Years.
She was English, and then I've seen Bob Hoskins in a lot of movies, and he was a very convincing American. And then I saw him on, I think, the Arsenio Hall show, and he's British. I never knew he's British. And Who Framed Roger Rabbit and other things, he speaks he's a very convincing American.
Wow.
Mermaids.
Fooled me.
Yeah. Bob Hoskins.
Look at this.
Yeah.
We actually got some comments from people. Look at these guys. I actually know them.
Of course you know them.
Yeah, they're actually watching from the Midwest.
Oh yeah.
Which is welcome aboard the Vinny Mac Show.
Yes, yes. I make this joke almost all the time. I said it on a show last week on Mary's show. I'm gonna say it on this show. I said, I have been on every single show you've done. In this incarnation, I've been on every single show. How many shows have you done?
Two.
Every single show. I said that on the show 20 years ago.
Yeah, you did. We're trying to get the network sponsors to pick us up.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
I thought when we started doing the show a couple weeks ago, I got the idea we were on the cutting edge and everything. I think everyone's doing a show like this.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why. Because there's no place to entertain anymore. There's no comedy clubs. There's no theaters.
Nope.
You can't go to. Movie theaters are going to open up soon. And some of them are already open, but they have it so you can't even sit with your girlfriend anymore. She's sitting over there. You're sitting over there. You're both wearing masks. I can enjoy. Can't even share the popcorn.
Can't eat.
So now everyone's trying to figure out ways to entertain.
Yes.
And this is and YouTube and,
and
Facebook and everything is coming to the rescue.
Yeah. I'm hoping we're doing a good job. Maybe.
Always remember, somebody told me this about show business.
Yes.
Is that a lot of people think they're doing a good job, they might be doing a good job, but it's not you to say. It's the public to say.
The public. Our public has to tell us.
The public tells you it's time to retire.
Which definitely some shows on TV should have retired a long time ago.
Yeah.
But
what show?
The Simpsons.
Oh, okay. I still enjoy I'll tell you why I enjoy The Simpsons. I think they still keep it pretty fresh. Now, they have actually exhausted almost everything that can be done has been done on The Simpsons, to the point where they were making fun in the early shows of disco, and now they're making fun of like hip hop and that what's that Korean way?
K-pop.
Yeah, and what's weird is the Simpsons themselves. The baby is still a baby. The parents don't look at him. In fact, I got the idea when I started watching The Simpsons. We're talking 35 years ago.
Yes.
I thought that the character of Homer was older than me, and now when he talks about stuff, he's younger than me. He goes, I graduated in 1995 or something. You have to keep the current ones up to date.
Yeah.
When in 1985 he didn't graduate in 1995. They graduated by 1965 or something.
Yeah, way back when.
He graduated.
Yeah, he didn't graduate, which I doubt it. Graduated from Fat U.
But I was noticing that if you watch the early Simpsons, the first ones are the character of Homer sounds like Walter Matthau.
Yeah.
Hello. Hi, hello. What's his name? Hello, Marge. Hello, Bart. You know, but now he has a different voice.
Yes.
And it's the same guy doing it.
Yes.
Yeah.
See,
but he just does a new voice, a different voice.
During the Tracy Ullman show days,
Yeah.
they used that Walter Matthau voice
Yeah.
just as a reprise to
Yeah.
say, hey, let's throw this cartoon out here. Let's see if it sticks. And Tracy Ullman must be the richest woman in the world.
You know.
Because,
yeah. You know why, don't you?
Other than she has rights to The Simpsons, doesn't she?
Something like she actually had a deal that, and it was a crazy contract that while they were on her show, she like owned everything on the show. So as a result of when it became a show, and the Tracy Ullman show was in its day was like the biggest bomb there was. It was like, I mean, this is before cable TV and stuff, or I think cable TV was popular, but network TV was still very popular. And it was like 65th in the ratings and all.
Right.
It had this little bit of thing called The Simpsons, and then they gave The Simpsons its own Christmas special, and then they gave it its own series. And lo and behold, it became such a big hit that contract that she had, she still made lots of money from The Simpsons.
Yes.
And because that's, you know, you need a good lawyer in Hollywood to get you all the, you know, Jackie Gleason had a show, The Honeymooners, and which they repeat all the time. And none of the four major actors, except for Alice, Audrey Meadows, got any residuals because of some crazy thing they put in her contract in 1950 or something. So up until her death, or probably her estate still gets residuals, while Jackie Gleason and the people who actually, you know, were the bosses of it, their residuals ended in like 1955 or something. But you know, it keeps repeating. You know?
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Well, you know, that's just get yourself a good lawyer. I would think that if you, a lot of times, this is weird. A lot of things are so destined to be bombs that people just that the talent just says, "Oh, just give me $1 million," which is, you know, which they think is a lot. But they said if I would have gotten like 3% or 10% of the gross and it becomes a big hit, then that would never stop. You could make more money but you know, so if somebody, I've never been offered a lot of money, but if they ever offered me, you want $1 million or a piece of the deal, I'll take a piece of the deal.
Yeah,
if it looks like it's gonna be a big hit.
Yeah. I mean,
this show, invest in it.
Yeah, I invested all my money on this show, and it looks like.
Look at this decor.
I know. but I'll tell you one thing.
These costumes.
Yeah, look at us. But it's a lot better than certain other shows I've seen that we've been involved.
And let me tell you something. I because I wear all these nice, expensive clothes all the time on shows, I get to write them off my taxes as a student expense.
Well,
there's only two things you have to do in life: live and die, and pay taxes.
Yeah, that is so true. Yeah. But the thing is that a lot of people will say, "Okay, this show might be a failure," or hey,
who's saying that?
I don't know who is saying that, but I know one guy out there who is saying that he thinks that we are the Scottie Pippen and the John Paxson of the internet, and it's like this show would not do well unless Michael Jordan comes on.
Let's get Michael Jordan on.
Yeah, let's bring Michael Jordan on here.
Get him in his Nikes and his underwear and his bald head.
Yes.
And then it would be a bigger hit than either one of us.
Matter of fact, I would let Michael Jordan just rename the whole entire show.
In fact, forget about Michael Jordan. We'll settle for Scottie Pippen. We'll get it for
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I have met Michael Jordan.
You have?
Yes, I have.
What's he like?
he is a very nice guy, but
Right. If I were him, I would be nice to.
yeah. But it was many, many years ago after a Wizards game.
That's right. Yeah, I remember you telling me. How did you? I mean, you just met him after game
Yeah,
and said
I just
hello?
went down to the lower levels, slapped five. Hey, Mike, good game.
Oh, you met him. Okay, you met him.
Yeah,
I
it was
never.
like good game. And then he came out a little bit later, and I
Oh
just
wow.
said he was signing autographs.
Great.
I should have gotten an autograph. I just wanted to talk to him for a second. It's like, hey, I said, how long are you gonna stay with the Wizards, Mike? And he told me as long as I want to.
Getting back to gambling,
Yeah,
he has a gambling problem, or he had a gambling
had a
problem.
gambling problem.
But unlike Pete Rose and all those people,
Uh,
he had so much money that he was smart, even though he lost a lot of money, and you
uh
always lose a lot of money.
Oh yes,
He
yes.
lost the amount would be catastrophic for anyone else, but because he had so much money, it barely made a dent. And he could always make it back with endorsements and stuff. Michael Jordan, it's important to note that he retired. The first time he retired, he went to play baseball,
Yes.
and I started off pretty well. I saw that documentary about him, but he had to go back to basketball eventually.
Yeah.
And I remember my dad is a very good in gambling, very good poker player.
Hmm.
But and I would hang with him, and he would win at poker. Just like I said, when you play poker, you have a say in the matter.
Yes.
It's not all
Yes.
luck; it's skill involved.
Skill. Definitely some
It's
skill.
not like roll of the dice. You actually he actually have cards, and you play them. Know when to hold them and fold them.
Yeah.
In fact, I sang that song to my dad, and he actually said, "That's a good song. Did you make that up?" I said, "No. What's the matter with you?" So anyway, so Dad said, we're gonna go to the buffet, but let me finish this
Mhm.
blackjack. And he lost my dad something like four $25 hands in a row in like 5 minutes.
Ooh.
$100. I've never seen
Oh.
$100. I still so, and so I said I can't take this. I'll meet you in the lobby when you're finished.
Yeah.
And so when he came out, I said, Dad, when you play poker, you play poker like Michael Jordan plays basketball. But when you play blackjack, you play like Michael Jordan playing baseball.
Oh. Oh. That's messed up. Well, speaking of Mike, we invite Michael to the show. But the other guy who thinks he is Michael Jordan, I don't see you sticking your tongue out, dribbling a basketball. Now, if you could, then you probably could come on our show, but you're not. So,
Well,
I'm just messing.
people are. He's a fine man,
Hey,
and
he's fine.
people are always. I mean, let's face it. When you're on top, people are always going to throw the spitballs at you.
Of
So
course
you
they
got to
are.
just roll with it.
Just gotta deflect,
Yeah.
deflect, deflect.
That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
Never worry.
Never worry.
Never worry about your competition.
Yeah.
They're
Well,
worried about you.
that's right. They're worried about us. I don't know why.
That's what my dad said about I'm talking about rats. I'm
Yeah,
scared
yeah,
of
yeah.
rats. He goes, the rat's scared of you too? You're bigger than the rat.
That's
You
true.
could chase him out, right?
Chase him out to squash him. Pull him on squash, rat. It's like, how you like that, rat?
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
it comes to a saying. When I was watching a couple of TV shows, you're only as good as your actors and actresses are portrayed.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I looked at a couple TV shows, and some of these actors are good, some of them are not. It's like, Kevin, I never have asked you, what is your favorite TV shows and stuff like that? I know we got a few more
Simpsons.
minutes.
No, I like. I'll tell you my favorite. Well, if you really talk about pure joy when I was a kid, I
Yes.
like the monkeys and the Batman.
Uh-huh.
But then as I got older, back in the early '80s, I really liked Miami Vice and The
Oh,
Equalizer.
yeah.
And the Bob Newhart show
Uh-huh.
of sitcoms always made me laugh. And then that kind of dry humor. And also I like it's not so physical. And then I like and currently I don't really watch a whole lot of I like sports and
Yep.
everything, but I watch Survivor and I watch
Uh-huh.
I watched Saturday Night Live. I never really missed Saturday Night Live because there's always something good to watch on it. But let me
Right.
tell you something. I think my three favorite shows of all time are Survivor,
Uh-huh.
Jeopardy,
Jeopardy.
and the old time show with Groucho, You Bet Your Life.
Oh yeah, Bet Your
So I
Life.
have three game shows are my they're I don't know, for some reason I'm
Huh.
drawn to game shows.
I love game shows.
Yeah,
Game
those ones,
shows,
those three.
those
Yeah,
three. Game shows
yeah,
when I was a kid was my life
yeah.
because I would watch The Price is Right, Press Your Luck. Well, of course, you gotta get rid of that whammy, you know.
Oh yeah,
um, Match Game
match
and
game. I like
different.
ones with celebrities on them.
Yeah, I do
And the
too.
ones
The
like
Pyramid,
Hollywood Squares
Hollywood
and
Squares.
I remember watching the $20,000 pyramid, and Tony
Mhm.
Randall was on there. And
Yes.
Tony Randall was one of those guys who always thought he was smarter than everybody.
Oh yeah.
So he's giving all these clues, and they
Hmm.
were actually pretty good clues, and the man just could not answer them,
Yes.
and he lost at the end of the 30 seconds or whatever it was,
Uh,
and he actually clapped, and he said, "I gave you great clues, and you missed them. You deserve to lose." And he was serious. You deserve to lose.
I
Frustrated.
always thought Tony was a complete jerk.
Well, on
Because
that episode, he certainly was. I mean, he wasn't a very gracious loser.
no, he was not. But you know what? I remember the episode. No, no, no. I was thinking both him and Klugman
Oh,
was
on
on.
Password?
No, actually, the
Oh,
$20,000 pyramid,
oh, okay, yeah.
$25,000 pyramid, but they weren't. Klugman was on it during a different time.
Yeah.
But at least Klugman won.
Well, I remember they did probably the most famous episode of The Odd Couple is they appear on Password, and they're basically playing like they would on game shows. I
Right,
mean, we're
right.
talking about the same sort of egos and thin skins and everything. So yeah, and but actually, I was trying to get into like the reboots of certain shows now, like
Mhm.
Press Your Luck and
I can't do
Match Game
reboots.
and Joker's Wild, and they're not. And for some reason, I like them better. They try to make them more fancy and modern to tell the truth,
Yeah,
and for some reason,
up to
it's just
date.
not. I like it better, kind of the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, because when you reboot and try to update these
Yeah.
shows, some of these people are just trying too hard. Other shows, they just flat out suck. So the Snoop Dogg Joker's Wild was all right for a time,
Yeah.
but once they got rid of that lady on there, Lady Luck, I stopped watching. Match Game sucks because Alec Baldwin can't host out of a paper bag. Matter of fact, Alec Baldwin sucks so bad.
Yeah.
If you had garbage dumped on top of him, it would still stay the same. That's how bad it
Only
is.
difference between him and
Yeah,
the
yeah,
garbage.
it's garbage. Yeah.
Now, the match game, though, I mean, as far as I see it, it doesn't look a whole lot. Just I don't think the celebrities are as funny as in the day.
Oh no,
And
no.
I think that's a very celebrity-driven show. I never watched Match Game for the. I hope the contestants win.
Yeah.
I saw it for the jokes.
Yeah, for the
Hollywood
jokes.
Squares, same thing.
Well,
And
everything's peeled back now
yeah.
because of PC stuff. I understand, but they got to be funny. Make it more comic. But hey,
There was a show that was very controversial in its day, a game show with, I think it had Don Adams on it. And it was called Screen
oh,
Test. And what happened was, I mean, he was the host of it. And what happened was they gave these people, it's like an American Idol type show,
uh-huh.
chances to act with celebrities and all.
Hmm.
But it was also sort of a candid camera sort of thing, in that they weren't in on the joke, that there was the other actors were supposed to screw up and everything. And so basically, the contestants were very upset.
Uh-huh.
Uh, I think that one of them, I think the show only lasted a few weeks because they sued the production, that we're just here to be made fun of. We're not here.
Oh
We're not
wow.
really playing a comedy. First, certainly they give us like car wax or something at the end of it as a consolation prize. But we thought we were going to make our get our big break on this show,
Yeah.
and then A lot of weird shows. There was a show I remember. This show I knew was going to be a failure. There was some show I forget the title of it. It was about celebrity. It was about crushes, not celebrity crushes, but crushes. And what happened was they would. It was a very like poignant and heartfelt show. And what happened was someone would come, goes, I've had a crush on this girl all my life, or I had a crush on this boy all my life, and he does not know it. He doesn't even know I exist, and everything. So then this is what happened. They would invite the guy, the object of the affection on the show, and he doesn't know or she doesn't know why they're there. And then they said, "Do you know this person?" And then the person will come out with a flower or something that says they absolutely love you and they want to start a relationship with you. And guess what happened? It what happened was no problem. And they're going to start this celebrity crush, and I knew that it was going to be a failure. This show because whenever you have crushes, all crushes are painful. They're all unrequited. They don't end well, and thus this show basically every show said, oh, I'll think about it. And then of course when they did like some of the epilogue, they're going to remain friends, or I'm glad he knows, but he's now dating somebody else. Or something. I mean, it was almost painful to watch this thing.
Yes.
There was another game show, Queen for a Day, which was really terrible.
Heard of that.
This was really wild. This show had like 3 women that would just tell the saddest stories. I'm on welfare, and my husband left me, and I'm eating out of garbage cans.
I'm eating dirt.
I'm eating dirt. And then the next person comes out and has an even worse story. And then the third person comes out. And then the people had to vote who's queen for a day. Now, one of them would win, and they'd win like a washing machine or something stupid. But the other 2 got nothing. After saying how terrible their life is and humiliating themselves. Yeah. And that is the worst show.
That is the worst.
This show, Let's Make a Deal. And my mom got so mad when we were kids because we loved the show. They were just giving away stuff. And we thought of Monty Hall. We thought it was great. And the people would wear costumes. And when we were kids, we loved this. But then my mom is very religious. And she saw someone get down on their knees and pray to God and Jesus that there was a car behind it and everything. My mom said, "This is blasphemy. This is greed. This is unmitigated squalor." And I wish you. And she actually said, "I wish you didn't watch the show."
Wow. I thought Let's Make a Deal was a great show.
Well, I mean, it is entertaining to a lot of people. The costumes
were awesome. Anyways, like believe it or not, in Australia and New Zealand, and you're a man of Australia, that's another country I want to go to. During the 80s, before we go off the air, you would never believe what was the #1 show in both countries in all of Australia.
Wow.
It's a game show.
Price is Right?
No.
I mean, their version of it.
No, not their version. Nope.
Password.
Nope, not Password. I'll give you one more guess.
What? Is it an American show?
I mean,
there's
it's an adaptation of American.
Okay.
Adaptation American.
Give me one to guess. I mean, give me the.
Give you a clue?
Yeah.
Okay.
A clue. It's like a game show right now.
Yeah, it's like a game show right now. I'm going to give him a clue. It was on NBC during the weekdays in the mid-80s.
Concentration.
Almost. Almost. I'll tell you what it is. What? It was Sale of the Century.
Oh, Sale of the Century. I almost forgot about that. Joe Garagiola in my day was hosting.
Yes. And, of course, Jim Perry in the 80s. But you had Tony Barber in Australia and Rick Karn, I think. No, I forgot the guy in New Zealand. It was the #1 show in the mid-80s in all of Australia and New Zealand.
Yeah, wow. Wow. I know that there's a movie, Slumdog Millionaire, and about Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. It's almost in every country.
Yes.
And in America, it had Regis, and now it has Terry Crews of it now. But it's had a few hosts. And in America, several people have won $1 million. But in a lot of those countries like India or in England, it is $1 million so hard to come by compared to America.
Yes.
That in some of those countries, nobody's ever won $1 million.
No.
Or 1 million rupees. Or
$1 million. As a matter of fact, they had a special on, I believe it was A&E about some couple scamming.
Yes, in England,
In
yeah,
England, yes.
or one of the English speaking countries, yeah.
It was actually in England.
Yeah, and
Um,
I remember the guy who was the guy that was there with
yes.
was every time the guy the host would read A B
Yep.
C whatever I don't know whether it was coughing that it was wrong or coughing that it was right. I don't know. I forget. But there was also a story. Uh, there's a show, The Price is Right. I never really cared for The Price is Right. But let me tell you about The Price is Right. I'll tell you what I don't like about The Price is Right. It's a show you watch. There's always something better to watch. And if you're watching The Price is Right, you're probably home from work. Which
Yeah.
you probably should be working. Now, let me tell you about The Price is Right. Price is Right goes back a long way.
Yes.
Price is Right. They it's actually a primetime show in England. It's once a week, and it's
Oh, yes.
and with English version of it.
Yes.
And I forget the host of it. He was very good. But what was weird was um, I read this article. I don't watch The Price Right, so I didn't know this happened. But somebody guessed that you had to guess if you guess within $100 or something, or you're under. If you overbid, you don't get it. But if you underbid, it's the only rule that they. It's the only place they have that rule. If you overbid by $2, you should get the damn thing. So anyway, what happened was the guy underbid by $3,000. The other guy overbid by $2. He loses. I never understood that. So anyway, what happened was someone actually got both showcases on the nose, and just like and they thought there'd be celebrations. It was just like the movie Slumdog Millionaire. They actually brought the guy in and said, "How did you do it? Are you cheating?" And what happened was the guy was sort of like the casino equivalent of counting cards. What happened was if you watch on The Price is Right, there is the same stuff comes up all the time, and the same prices come up. He basically memorized everything, and when he got picked, he kind of knew he was ready for every contingency, everything that was offered him. So he actually got it on the nose.
Yes.
And I think they quietly gave it to him, if I remember right. But they didn't make a big fuss. Oh, look, the first guy, he wasn't like on Jeopardy where. See, if that were to happen on. Is the equivalent of like if Ken Jennings or somebody, if they dragged him in and gave him a cattle prod like in the movie Casino and said, what are you doing? You cheating? Or James Holthouse, who we were talking about earlier. Yeah.
Well, I tell you, I can't believe it.
Yes. Oh, any last what at sports? You got to tell me something about sports. This is Mr. Sports here.
Yeah, I'm
So
Mr.
do you have
Sports
any?
here.
Are you going to any games, or you have any predictions or anything?
Don't know.
Except for the Cowboys for the win the NFC.
Yeah, hopefully the Cowboys.
I hope you win money.
I hope not. Hate the Cowboys. But the NHL playoffs are going on right now. The NBA playoffs are going on right now. Major League Baseball is going on right now. So hopefully the NFL will follow suit. Unfortunately, no college sports right now. But we'll see if the ACC, SEC, and the Big 12 will play football in the fall. The Big 10 and the Pac-12 have already said we're going to do it in the spring. I have a feeling that's going to be a little iffy because your Midwestern schools, if you start football in the spring, the one factor that they keep forgetting about is the weather. And they're going to start in February. So you got high knee snow that you're going to be playing football in. And then when you go into March and April, and especially into May, you have to deal with tornadoes and severe thunderstorms. So hopefully.
Do they play outside?
Yeah. Yeah.
The March Madness Classic.
March Madness Classic, yeah.
Outside.
Outside.
Harlem Globetrotters used to play outside. Not in America, but like when they went to like South America or Africa or something. They had all they had were outdoor and like stadiums.
Yes.
I guess soccer stadiums they would play there.
They played there.
Yeah, they didn't have domes on them. Harlem Globetrotters.
Once again, we thank you for joining us on the Vinny Mac Show. We hope that you were entertained, and we'll be back once again. We try to keep the show mild, and I know it's like we're not trying to be controversial, but we try to spew our stuff. We try.
We try.
But remember, this show is sponsored by Skunk Removing Soap. Get that soap, remove that skunk out of your life. There you go.
Made from tomato sauce.
Made from tomato sauce. Skunk remover. And I bet a lot of people on the internet know what I'm talking about, especially if you're one of those folks who search a lot of stuff on the internet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which we might talk about.
We I have so much to say, and I only got to say the first. I only have one note card here, and I can set it off.
I guess unfortunately we're out of time. We're have to bring on the next guy in here.
Bring on the next Facebook live.
Yeah, bring on the next people of funniness. I am once again Vinny Mac, Kaye Lazar. Thank you so much, Kaye Lazar,
It's
for
good to be
letting
here.
me do another Facebook live.
Oh, it's my pleasure. The pleasure is yours.
Yes, the pleasure is all yours.
I had a wonderful time, Vinny Mac, and
Yes.
this wasn't it. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Bye bye.